揽投资，国内专业的互联网理财平台，收益超银行活期数倍，已为众多用户带来丰厚收益。揽投资理财新选择，
源于民族之心，兴于品质之巅，成于健康之路，有爱有缘有三元。
9月20号早上9点，北京建国门瑞吉酒店10层一间看似普通的房间门口，财新传媒总编辑胡舒丽和主编王硕一行按下了门铃。稍等片刻，开门的正是新闻集团执行董事长默多克本人。这位84岁的全球最大传媒帝国的掌门人，精神矍铄，笑容温和，握手非常有力。他将在这里接受财新时间的专访，这也是他相当长时间以来接受的第1次专访。我们进门之后发现，这是一组普通套房当中的会客厅，而默多克在开门之后又坐回到书桌边阅读他的平板电脑。默多克几乎每年都会来中国，而他这次中国行更具特殊意义。在即将对美国展开第1次国事访问的前夕，中国国家主席习近平在人民大会堂会见了默多克，并且接受了新闻集团旗下《华尔街日报》的书面专访。而这次默多克接受财新时间专访，话题就从他与习近平主席的会面开始。
What's your impression about Xi Jinping, the president?
Well, he's a very impressive man, very powerful, and very thoughtful. He's clearly thinking a lot about his visit to the United States and to Europe. And it's very important that the world learns more about China and what it's thinking about. Well, I think, China is getting stronger and stronger. Although I come from different countries, I'm really an American now, and I'd see it very largely through American eyes. I think we have a lot to do to get to understand each other better. We have to understand that, for the last 100 years, the United States has been the preeminent power in the world. Ever since the British Empire went bankrupt in the First World War 100 years ago, America has emerged. And now America has to get used to another great power. Not necessarily a greater one, but another great power. So there's a lot of adjustment and a lot of understanding of each other's different civilizations, our different histories. So there's a great deal of work to be done, starting with our leaders.
对于中美关系这一世界上最重要的双边关系而言，今年是多事之年。中国步入改革深水区，美国进入竞选周期。从网络安全到南海问题，双方纷争不断。两国外交界和学界都有观点认为，双边关系正处于相对消极的时期。对此，默多克持有不同意见。
But we heard the mood over U.S. and China relationship in the States are very negative now, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think, as I said, they have to get used to the idea that China is emerging as a great power. But this is a bad time. We have an election in America, and you don't want to take any notice. All the people vying to be nominees want to look very tough. So you go through that, then they become nominees, they talk a little more seriously, and then they become elected, and reality sets in. So you go through phases. These are the phases, the early phases. We should not take too much notice.
习奥会之后，外界关注的焦点之一就是中美双边投资协定 BIT 能否推动两国经贸往来更进一步。这一两国当前经贸领域最重大的谈判项目已经历时7年，其意义堪比世纪之交中国入世。在默多克看来，中美贸易关系需要进一步推动，而中国也需要相应的法规，使人们能更有信心在华投资。
What is your take on the current bilateral relationship negotiation? BIT?
Well, I think the idea, we must push ahead with more trade. But in the past, we've had a lot of welcoming the idea of Western investment in China. Now there are signs that it's getting a little more difficult. I believe that both countries should be open. I notice we're having trouble in Australia now, my own country, and in America about Chinese investors in a large way, industries there. But equally, it should be easier for Western countries to invest in this country. And there should be a very clear rule of law, so they know how to behave. There is in America, there is in Australia, there are very clear laws. We need those clear laws here so that people can invest here with confidence. Both countries will gain from that.
There are so many difficult issues between U.S. and China, and one of them is high-tech export to China of the United States, which Chinese government has been demanding for a long time. So, in your view, do you think that will happen?
Yeah, it has to go both ways. We want there's a lot of great high tech in America that should be coming here, and vice versa. But there's people are very, very sensitive of security. Could things be planted in high tech that can be used later? It's certainly possible. And until we get rid of suspicions and get more trust between the two countries, that'll be a problem.
中美近来在网络安全问题上平起波澜，美国多次指责中国黑客攻击，而中国则否认美方的指控。对于颇多争议的中美网络安全问题，默多克认为这个问题被夸大了，应当把政府行为与公司和个人行为分别对待。
Cybersecurity is another difficult issue. Do you worry that this issue will worsen the bilateral relation even further?
No, I don't think there's any serious issue between China and America. Neither wants to have a war. Neither. Cybersecurity, yes, I think it's exaggerated. We don't really know how much is done by governments. Clearly, the intelligence services of all countries, including America, are active in this area. But I think the cybersecurity, when it comes to individual companies, individual people, hacking into intellectual property, and stealing it, that has got to be stopped. There has to be a clear understanding about that. China now, as it's developing, is getting very jealous of its own intellectual property. And it doesn't want it stolen by Americans or Europeans or if we're able to do this. So it's got to work both ways.